All right, let's talk about what you guys are interested in, and that's Melani BoudreauX Pawlowski. She's attached to the Lori Vallow Daybell, the Doomsday Mom case. And Melanie said she did not belong to a cult. Well, we're going to challenge that. Before we get started, let me thank everyone for hanging out here with me at Chasing a Murder. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. And also, don't forget about our missing girls who continue to go missing. If you're not familiar with the case, please check out Life Beyond the Grave or some of my news coverage on this story, because we're going to go over this as if you follow it. Now, Alex Cox, we know, has been deemed Lori Vallow's protective angel. And just recently, she was convicted of conspiring to kill Brandon Boudreaux, which is her nephew-in-law, who was married to Melani Boudreaux. Her ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux, was shot at. And this was awful suspicious because Brandon Boudreaux recognized the vehicle that was there, and it belonged to Charles Vallow, the man that was shot by Alex Cox just months before. Something very interesting is that this couple had a stall in their divorce that raised a few red flags. It's been speculated that it's due to Brandon had a life insurance policy. It was around 3 weeks after Brandon Boudreaux was shot at that Melani Boudreaux leaves Arizona and moves to Rexburg, Idaho, excuse me, guys, and moves right beside her aunt, Lori Vallow. Now, I talked more about Melani and her children in that time period in the video before, so check that out. So Melani Boudreaux, she had packed her U-Haul on Halloween night, October 31st of 2019, and she and her uncle Alex, the protector, head to Idaho. Melani starts to settle into her new home in the first part of November. And somehow, in between the attempted shootings, the moving state to state, hanging out in a cult, seeking answers in a temple, she finds time to get on a dating site. On that dating site, she finds a guy by the name of Ian Pawlowski. Ian Pawlowski had just gone through a divorce himself from his wife, Natalie. The couple had a few children together. So here's the strange part, because we're actually going to go over Melani and Ian and the red flags surrounding these two, because there's no doubt in my mind that both of them belong to the 144,000. And that's my opinion, guys. Melani met him in mid-November, and I'll go into more details in Life Beyond the Grave, so make sure you check out that series that covers this case. And it seems, according to what we can gather from Ian's interviews and testimony and affidavits, he had an idea about these teachings from the very beginning. The strange thing about this is he and Melani only dated a very short time before they got married at the end of November 2019. Then they would go on their honeymoon just like a week later, around December 6th of 2019. And that's after things have already heated up and gone to the tippy top of crazy. And that's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to go over quite a bit of information about that. So we learned that Ian and Melani claim that they are not part of this cult, but at Chad Daybell's trial and Lori's trial, audio recordings by the FBI investigators suggest that they are living in this cult. Interestingly, you hear Melani Boudreaux refer to Chad and Lori as mom and dad. Many people have speculated on the reason for that, but there's several that we can come up with. One of them being, as we know, they believe in premortal lives, and they claim that all of them had had these premortal lives and have been in each other's lives, including as immediate family members. And so in spirit, she's connected to them as their daughter. We learned that Lori believed that she did live these past lives and was on Earth 5 times, and believed that she was possibly even one of her deceased siblings, or one of her other deceased siblings had returned to Earth and was raised as her daughter. We covered more detail in this on that part and videos before too. So we're going to skip over that and talk. We're going to run some audio here from those recordings. You guys are going to want to hear this. And we're going to study what they tell the jury in trial. Now, do you remember Melanie Gibb? That is Lori Vallow's, one of her best friends that's involved with this group. She's also one of the gifted, though she refuses to admit that. She's one of the ones that actually brought Chad and Lori together. She brought several people together and give Chad and Lori both a place to actually expand their voices. Now, Melanie claims that she's not into the, pre-existing lives. She's not into a lot of the stuff that they're teaching, that she's kind of second thinking of, whether or not it's true. And she says she doesn't realize that people that are zombies are being killed off, even though she was around when Charles Vallow was shot. She was around when Brandon Boudreaux was shot at. She was around when the kids disappeared, and she was around when Tammy died. It's also suspected that she was around, like several other people, when Lori and Alex threatened to kill people. Now, here's something really interesting. After Brandon Boudreaux was shot at, they're looking online to find out information, did something happen? Was Brandon Boudreaux gone? According to an interview with Nate Eaton, she describes a moment where Melani Boudreaux asked her to go by Brandon's home.
Do you think you would have ever been on that list where a zombie overtook you?
Maybe now I might be. Maybe now I might be.
Are you still concerned for your safety?
No.
Let's talk about Brandon Boudreaux and when he was shot at. Did you have any sort of relationship with Brandon? Had you met him through Melanie?
I had met him briefly, once or twice. Not much conversation. Just hi, kind of that. Nothing.
Casual acquaintances.
Yeah, I didn't really know him. Yeah.
How did you find out that somebody had taken a shot at him?
So that's interesting. I didn't know he was shot at until I was asked to go check on his house and drive by his house to see if their children, Brandon's children, were there.
And who asked you to do that?
Alex and Melanie. And so I drove by and to see if anybody was there because she was concerned about her children. And I talked to a neighbor, and he said that they had moved out 2 weeks ago. And he said there was no children there. And he said, I'm really glad they moved on because somebody tried to shoot at Brandon. And I said, really? So anyway, I went back and shared this with Alex, and he said, oh yeah, we heard about that. He got shot at, but we believe that somebody tried to take a shot at it to make it look like it was us, or make it look like me. I'm not sure who was referring to himself or.
So Alex volunteered and said they're trying to make people think it was me.
Yeah, you're saying it better than I am.
Odd statement. You're saying that better than I am. So you can tell that Melanie is very uncomfortable talking about this one part. She might not have expected it, or she couldn't think, off the top of her head. She does her sniffle thing that she always does when either she's lying or she's uncomfortable. So Alex Cox and Melanie asked her to go check on Brandon. This is 2 weeks after he was shot at. Remember, Charles had just been shot. He was a zombie. Now Brandon was a zombie. And if she didn't put it together then, on top of the threats of wanting to kill Charles, then I think, in my opinion, she's a liar. We're not here to point out Melanie Gibbs' red flags, but to point out something she said. She said that Melanie Boudreaux was interested in knowing, where Brandon's at, what he's doing. And this is almost 2 weeks before she moves to Idaho. So Ian and Melanie saying that they're not part of this thing doesn't seem to be adding up to be true. And I'm going to say that I believe that this is going to fuel more doubt in your minds as we continue forward. Now, we did talk about the fact that Melanie moved to Rexburg, Idaho. And while she's living there, and just past her and Ian starting to date, and as Thanksgiving come along, there's a welfare check. And that's at the end of November. So around November 26th through the 28th is some very crucial moments in this case. Now, according to Melanie and everyone else, Chad Daybell had been preaching that Rexburg, Idaho was the place to be. It's the safest place to be as the second coming approaches. But after the police visit on November 26th, Melanie Gibb lying to police, Melani Boudreaux not working with police, Chad Daybell and Lori both get on the phone with Melanie, and they tell her that she ought to get away from there. You can hear it in her voice that Melanie's kind of confused, because she was like, I just moved here. I met someone. His work is here. His family's here. Everything we need is here right now. She doesn't mention her children. You told us we needed to be here, but now you're saying we should leave?
In Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
Do you recall Chad telling you anything in relation to whether or not you should move?
Yes.
And what did he direct?
That we should leave as soon as possible.
Annie's relationship with Chad and Lori, did she look to them as a mother and father figure?
Yes.
Do you feel she was susceptible to what they were telling her?
Yes.
This recording was made on, I believe, Ian Pawlowski's honeymoon. And with Melanie, this is only like days after they were married, around December 6th of 2019. This is when police become hot on Lori Vallow's trail. So I'm going to play some audio that the prosecutor played in court for Chad Daybell. And you'll hear Melanie talk to several people on this phone: Alex Cox, Zulima, Lori Vallow, and Chad Daybell later. And she'll also talk about how Lucifer and dark spirits are attacking them.
You guys heard about Gibb yesterday? No, well, she was talking to Dave. He said the reason he wasn't moving forward in their relationship is because he never got a confirmation on topics. He doesn't believe she was really ordained. If she was really ordained in 130,000, we don't want to change the brother. Right. So he's not buying anything. And Gibb said, talk yourself into thinking that the only way to clear her conscience is to call the police and tell them that she knows, which is that she never had JJ, and that she asked for what you and I told her that she was better off not knowing. I said that? That's what she says. She threw me under the bus for nothing? Yes. We were walking in the park. No, not just you. She was throwing everybody under the bus. She was throwing everybody under the bus because she thought the cops would present the room, and that was going to clear her conscience with God. Right? She didn't even know what it was. There's nothing else. You what? Hold on. Oh, back. I waited. Okay. Melani Pawlowski. Oh, I miss you. I miss you. Hello. Hello. Okay. This is your voice. Your daddy. Well, she'll be able to hear you when she stops sobbing. Oh, I miss you guys. Oh, did you miss my baby? Right? I'm here. I'm in the ER tonight.
So remember, Melani Boudreaux good and well knew about several threats to the lives of people such as Charles, Brandon, JJ, Tylee, Tammy, all these zombies. And you can hear Alex Cox on there speaking with Melanie and telling Melanie about what Melanie Gibb said about the situation and how that she was going to police to tell the truth. Alex clearly says that he believes that David Warwick is the one responsible for having Melanie change her mind and turn her back on this group of people and talk to police. And it's obvious to see that each and every one of these people are manipulating each other. Melanie Gibb told Alex that the reason she and David's relationship wasn't moving forward is because he never got a confirmation on the zombies. Seems that David was actually seeking answers from God on zombies, whether they exist or they are part of this plan of the Church of the Firstborn. We don't hear this from David's mouth or Melanie Gibbs during trial or interviews. What we hear is them denying they had anything to do with using the term zombie or zombies, period. And when Melanie Gibb turned, she turned pretty hard because she told Alex that if Lori was really ordained in the 144,000, she was truly ordained, she would know that Peter and James were right. While we did not understand exactly what they meant by Peter and James, while in later recordings with Lori Vallow and Melanie Gibb for police, she said, quote, "Well, David is a very righteous man, and I've always known that grounding about him. He has a lot of beautiful experiences with the Lord, and these are not the same. You know, when you get the priesthood, that's Peter, James, and John shows up, and then he confirms all those in the circle that are to get it, and everybody's a witness of that. Everybody's a witness that the pattern is in the scriptures. There's no witness that you ever received what you think you received. Nobody has seen that but you. There's no witness. The witness Joseph Smith, Oliver Crowley, Martin Harris, the 8 witnesses, they all showed up. So this group of people were trying to use each other as witnesses for anything that they understood, they saw, or they received any type of messages from heaven or angels or anything else for that matter. Remember when I told you that Chad Daybell seemed very obsessed by Bruce McConkie and Melchizedek? Chad often spoke of Peter and how he healed James, restored the Melchizedek priesthood with James and John, held the keys to bind earth and in heaven, visions of unclean creatures. Guys, that's a teaser for you because I'm going to go into some extreme detail and life beyond the grave about what these guys believed and what they were teaching. So make sure you check that out, because they're basically going back and they're talking about things that are in, you can't read, that are in between the lines, things that involve Melchizedek, Methuselah, James the Just, and more. You got to remember that documents record Moroni telling Joseph Smith about the golden plates, their contents, and their role in restoring the gospel. They also detail the conferral of the priesthood upon Joseph Smith, Oliver Crowley, John the Baptist, Peter, James, and John. So you got to remember that all these disciples are connected in whatever these guys are trying to do. And it's even going to be, you'll see, a lot of the foundation for the 144,000. But what I think Chad is referring to at this moment is the fact that Peter had actually denied knowing Jesus 3 times because he was afraid of being associated with him. He didn't want to be arrested or punished. Later, Peter felt really bad about that, and ask for forgiveness. It shows that even though Peter was a strong leader, he was also human and made mistakes. I think what Chad is trying to say is that this is why Melanie's doing what she's doing, and she's making a mistake. Chad's comparing himself, it seems, to other prophets in the past. You got to remember, they believe they're the leaders of the 144,000 with a mission, and that they faced times of persecution, going to jail for preaching about Jesus. That didn't stop them. It didn't stop Peter or John. They refused to be silenced and continued to preach boldly. But it seems Melanie's throwing David under the bus by claiming he's the reason why she no longer believes what they're teaching. Well, you got to remember, she's been part of the teaching ministry. Alex tells Melani BoudreauX that David isn't buying anything. And they seem nervous about the fact that Melanie Gibbs is going to go to the police and tell them what she knows. But does she really? Now it seems that Alex Cox is manipulating Melani BoudreauX quite badly here on this part where they are talking about the kids. In an interview with Melanie Gibbs, she clearly stated that she talked to Alex Cox and asked if she wanted, where the kids are. And Alex told her that she didn't want to know. Well, Alex Cox tells Melanie that Melanie Gibb said that about her. That Melanie Gibb would be better off not telling her where the kids are. Again, guys, this has never been proven that Melanie has ever said that. It just seems that, to me, based off of what I know at this time, that it was a manipulation tactic by Alex Cox to keep Melanie from leaving the team. Not saying that Melani BoudreauX is innocent, because she did more than her share of manipulating people. It was obvious that Alex and Lori were manipulating everyone. They could control people this way and control every situation. Here's the thing, as Melani BoudreauX starts talking to Lori on the phone, and she says, I tried to warn you. I wanted to warn you about Melanie Gibb. I just got this really bad feeling, basically. Also, Melani BoudreauX feels like she's being attacked by these spirits, these dark spirits, and by Lucifer himself. She spends a lot of time in the temple, and she says a lot of time crying about her kids. I want to mention something else, and we're going to listen to some of this. Ian Kowalski says he believes the reason for Melanie Gibb and David Warwick pulling away from this group was because things got too hot. They were fine with it until police wanted to question them. Now, these spiritual attacks that Ian is talking about, he said he heard them not from Lori, not from Chad, but from Melanie.
There were no physical attacks. What they're referencing were spiritual attacks from Satan.
Did that link back to the blessing that you were given by Chad?
Yes.
Had you heard of spiritual attacks before, like they were talking about them?
Yes.
And had you heard about them from someone besides this group?
I only heard these types of attacks from Melanie.
Now, Melanie is more than involved with deeming or understanding that many of the investigators in this case that are investigating JJ and other people, well, they're one of the bad ones.
Horrible. Is he one of the bad ones? Yeah, him and the Hope are the two bad ones. I wondered if it was Lieutenant Ball. Lieutenant Ball kept bringing me food and water. I was like, is he poisoning me? He's like, here's some fresh banana bread. I was like, oh, I don't know about this banana bread. He's probably good. The other ones are good. Hope, you said? Hope and your guy. Your investigator guy. Those are the two bad ones. Yeah, so he has all my stuff.
And stopping at 14.
They mentioned that Hope is a bad one, and that's because he is related to Heather. Then you have Hermosillo. Why is Hermosillo dark? Well, he's the more aggressive one that's not going to give up on this case. He's planning on finding answers.
So, what do you know about you? Listen, she's not good. She's is doubting and falling because of Dave. Just that she's gonna go tell the police that she's like, yeah, and throw all this under the bus. I don't know, that makes sense. Remember, I always got that thing about her that, yeah, and I was like, so I was just mama bear claws towards you. Like, I was like, yeah, well, the Lord kept saying, like, Melanie, like, you don't trust her, but just let Lori have her, experience with that. And I just keep, doing what I'm doing. And it bothered me because I was like, I want to trust her because you trust her. And I kept getting something else. So it makes sense now, I guess. It's Dave that's probably the problem. Yeah. Well, how do you see it going, I guess? Like, that is bad for her in every way. Because we can't trust her anymore because that, for one. For two, it ruins her place with us. But for three, you call the police and you tell them that you're a liar, and then you try to tell them something that's the truth, they're going to be like, you just said you were a liar. Right?
This is kind of sad because Melanie Gibbs said, I love Melanie, but it shows that that Melani Boudreaux never had those same feelings for Melanie Gibb. So what is there to trust Melanie Gibb about? So this is something that gives you a hint that Melanie is part of this group and that she felt like Melanie Gibb was not trustworthy to know things within this group or carry the secrets or whatever. Something really interesting that Melanie says is, how do you see it going, I guess? So a roundabout way of asking, what do you expect is going to happen to Melanie Gibb? Lori includes Melanie in this conversation as us. So it ruins Melanie Gibbs' place with us. It was clear Lori was very upset with Melanie Gibb because she went and called the police and told them that she was a liar. And Lori is shocked by that and said, well, why are the police going to believe you from here on once you admit you're a liar? But you can see that Lori's very good at seeming very, very confident and trying to calm down a place where people are starting to panic. She's making them believe that, the police aren't going to believe her. She's a liar. Why would they?
So I don't know if I trust that at all. Right. So you kind of shoot yourself in the foot. You call them, tell them that you lied, and then try to tell them the truth. Right. So I don't see it going anywhere bad for any of us.
Now, Lori mentions the fact that she doesn't see it bringing up anything bad to affect any of us. Not Lori, not Chad, but us. Who's on the phone? Melani Boudreaux, Ian Pawlowski, Zelima, Alex Cox, Lori Vallow, and Chad Daybell. Any of us.
Mr. Pawlowski, do you hear in there again talk of Dave and Melanie?
Yes.
Do you know which Dave they're referencing?
It's still David Warwick.
And the Melanie?
Melanie Gibb.
And did you hear in there again talk of Melanie was going to go to the police and tell them she lied?
Yes.
And do you hear Lori's responses that there's going to be three things for her?
Right.
One, that she's essentially lost her place with this group. Is that correct?
Yes.
One, she has all this knowledge and she may be accountable for it.
Yes.
And third, that now she's going to go tell the police the truth after lying.
Yes.
Do you know what Melanie Gibb had lied to the police about?
She had lied to the police about believe it was just JJ in her possession.
And again, there's a reference to Dave kind of being the problem, or Melanie's falling because of Dave. Did you hear that as well?
Yes.
So Julie had said that you guys felt that maybe we should consider going to Idaho Falls for a little while, and we prayed about it and felt like, I don't know, I felt like either one will be fine. Like, we're going to be okay no matter what. So I don't know if there's a better option or a good option, but we kind of just felt like we're okay to stay there. Like, that's our home, and we're making it just our place of light, and it'll be protected. But is there something we need to be aware of, or?
My only worry was if they're watching you.
Yeah, somebody do it. Yeah, well, they are, and they're probably tracking my phone and listening in or whatever. But I'm aware we're just doing our own thing and kind of just.
So here's the thing. You can hear that Melanie's kind of not wanting to be part of this anymore, it sounds like. But you have to, it makes you wonder, what was her deal with Brandon Boudreaux? Why was she involved with that? How does she get involved with that? And why does she help with that? I'm sure this is something police were struggling with. You know, her part in this and what's her true involvement in this. And it's easy to see that once Lori and Chad were arrested, that she did not come clean whatsoever. She just continued to lie and manipulate, which tells you that most likely she was involved with some of the darker aspects of what these people were doing. But it seems like since things are heating up, she's met Ian, she's not wanting to go running around and traveling anymore. This is something we've heard her do with, you know, she'll tell Lori she wants to go do something, and they're like, nope, you can't do it. You have to stay here. Or nope, you can't stay here. You have to go somewhere else. So Melanie's kind of difficult. Now remember, guys, remember that time that Lori said, if Chad is Satan, he sure is a good one? Hadn't you wondered where that come from? Because I know I have. You know how these people go to the temple all the time? Well, there was a reference that come from someone within this group that Satan was being brought into the temple with them. So just keep that in the back of your mind, guys. I'm going to have to pause here because, wow, we're going to have to do a second part to this. I want you guys to share your thoughts below. I didn't have time to share your comments this video, but we will get to them. There's just so much information I wanted to get out there to you guys, and let you guys kind of go over your thoughts, share your thoughts of what you think is really going on with Melani BoudreauX Pawlowski. Don't forget about our girls here that continue to go missing. The stories are cold. They're at a dead stop, and their families have no justice. Take a moment to share their story on your social media today. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.